Transmigrated as a disabled protagonist, how should I continue the script? Chapter 28, The God of Calamity Loses Control. Nakahara finally managed to find the marked address on the map. When he infiltrated this space, which had been occupied by outsiders, he was met by Kimura, a sheep member, his face filled with desperation as he rushed over. Chuya. Seeing that Kimura was still alive, Nakahara felt relieved, but then immediately heard him speak in panic. Chuya, be careful, everything here is an illusion. An illusion? He suddenly looked around the place he had entered. The door had vanished, turning into a crumbling wall instead. This kind of trickery is useless against me. You follow me, we'll go face the mastermind behind all this. Nakahara wasn't afraid of illusions. Even a weakling leaning against a wall could be kicked apart by him with a single strike, no gravity needed. His blue eyes warily scanned the surroundings. He didn't bother to stop Kimura. Staying in one place was not a safe option. As he was about to lead his subordinates up the stairs, Joshima Ken, with his saffron-colored hair, bared his teeth, exuding a chilling malice like a fierce dog. Following closely behind, Kakimoto Chikusa appeared, wearing a hat and displaying a cold face marked with a series of barcodes, numbers left from human experimentation. They were once children of the Estranio family, captured by the family for experiments, becoming the only survivors of the three experiment. Not long after the family's destruction, they were imprisoned together in a high-security Italian prison. Both of them were willing to give their lives for Mukuro-sama, carrying out his wish to destroy the mafia. Ken, this is too troublesome, let's go together. Kakimoto Chikusa did not treat Nakahara as a physical combat expert. In the world of ability users, there's no room for the slightest carelessness. He and Joshima Ken were both rather ordinary in terms of innate talent. The enemy joining forces not only didn't frighten Nakahara but instead brought a cold, arrogant expression to his face. Let me teach you two outsiders a lesson. The sheep's rules. The gravity manipulator, neither the Port Mafia nor the GSS organization, wanted to face the young powerhouse directly. Kimura was thrown aside, and Chuya charged up the stairs, turning into a black blur as a deep crimson light surged. Upstairs, Yakimaru, who was thinking of a way to reconcile with Dororo, suddenly turned towards the stairwell, sensing the demon god. He immediately felt a cold, icy fighting spirit arise. It's the demon god. Soon after, there was nothing stopping him from leaving the room, and with sharp clarity, he could see the target. It's him, again. Briefly excited, Yakimaru peeked his head out then withdrew it. His hair, previously messy, now smoothed out, and the previously sharp features of his face became softer. As he passed by Rokudo Mukuro, his mind's eye saw the purple electric mist surrounding himself and its connection to Rokudo Mukuro's life flame, roughly understanding that the other had been assisting him. Rokudo Mukuro diverted some of his attention from observing the battle to him. From Rokudo Mukuro's perspective, Yakimaru stared at him for 3 seconds with a blank expression, his gray-brown lifeless pupils devoid of any human emotion, giving Rokudo Mukuro the impression that the other might draw his sword at any moment. Don't worry, you won't be able to. Rokudo Mukuro laughed with a kufufufu, but Yakimaru didn't make a move, instead running off to find Tezuka Osamu. Still, I don't want to thank someone like him. Dororo. Yakimaru's Dororo wasn't playing with his phone at all, glaring at him, with no more hesitation on his face. Once he discarded the feeling of shyness from being liked, he quickly immersed himself into his character. Yakimaru, stop reciting it already. Tezuka Osamu tossed a piece of candy into Yakimaru's mouth from a distance. The candy fell and was caught by Yakimaru's hand. Yakimaru rubbed the candy in his palm, realizing it might be the food he had once eaten. Dororo fed me. If not, Dororo would surely have stopped me from finishing it. Who said Yakimaru doesn't understand how to go with the flow? He possesses the common sense of an ordinary person, while carefully hiding this advantage. At critical moments, it can become a killer move. For example, when he felt the candy melting in his mouth, his whole mood lifted. He didn't hide his feelings of receiving this precious item at all. Dororo forgave me. The black-haired boy, numb for many years, lacked the nerves to show a smile, but emotions had tinted his eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, and all joys, angers, sorrows, and pleasures can be found within. He smiled at Tezuka Osamu, using his soul, locked away in darkness, to express his joy toward him. The resilient power of life surged forth. A critical hit. Tezuka Osamu hurriedly averted his gaze, for the first time hating how well he understood psychology. If he couldn't read Yakimaru, he could have treated him as nothing more than a puppet with peace of mind. At this rate, if he loses interest later, how will he abandon Yakimaru? I don't know. Yakimaru, go. Attack your enemy with full force. Tezuka Osamu's words did not match his thoughts, his gaze wandering freely. The sound of the fight downstairs constantly reminded him that he wanted to trap the little dwarf. He patted his wooden face, regaining the composure of a manipulator, as described by Mori-san. His expression shifted from indifferent to cold. Or, kill him. Committing murder together, becoming accomplices, that way you can be just like me. HarumachiMusic, with overwhelming strength, defeated the beastified Joshima Ken and used the yo-yos as assassination weapons against Kakimoto Chikusa, kicking both of them away, sending them crashing into the wall with a loud thud. He stomped up the creaking stairs, carrying the commanding presence of someone about to confront the mastermind behind the scenes. A blue-haired boy in uniform sat there waiting for him, letting out a kufufufu laugh, having not joined the fight earlier. In his view, Ken and Chikusa had grown lax, a bit of physical training wouldn't hurt them. This is our first meeting, and I have a question I want to ask you. You fool, when you're writhing in agony at my feet, I'll answer you slowly. HarumachiMusic grinned viciously. It seems you're not interested in a normal conversation. Rokudo Mukuro spread his hands, while behind HarumachiMusic, Kimura huffed and kept pace. His sleeve slid down, revealing a dagger aimed at HarumachiMusic from behind. Rokudo Mukuro smiled and said, "This kind of attitude. I've seen it many times, Nakaharu-kun." What? A sharp pain struck HarumachiMusic's back. Kimura's dagger fiercely plunged into his back, and a voice echoed from his mouth, Rokudo Mukuro's voice. But in the end, they will all come to understand one thing: being my enemy is the greatest mistake they could make. If a perfect victory could be achieved, Rokudo Mukuro would not bother with the theatrics of a life-and-death struggle. Isn't watching people groan in pain more enjoyable? A true illusionist should win effortlessly. Kufufufu, can you answer my question now? Rokudo Mukuro, occupying Kimura's body, wiped a thick layer of anesthetic on the blade, enough to sap the strength from his opponent. What is your relationship with the Vongala family? Are you, or are you not, the heir to Vongala Decimo? HarumachiMusic staggered 2 steps, not daring to turn his back on Rokudo Mukuro, so he could only lean to the side to look at Kimura. The expression on his face was an unclear mix of unspeakable fortune or sorrow, hatred to the extreme, or disdain. Kimura was your bait. You controlled him, didn't you? You cowardly rats, only capable of stabbing people in the back. Wrong. Rokudo Mukuro, aiming for the heart with his words, smiled faintly and said, "When I controlled Kimura, he begged me for mercy, and even volunteered to help me bring HarumachiMusic here. He said something about how Chiya's power is much stronger, more useful than 10 of him combined. Seems your subordinate isn't so loyal to you after all." HarumachiMusic's expression hardened. Rokudo Mukuro's true body stood up. After the anesthetic took effect, causing the boy to kneel halfway, Mukuro walked up to him, lifted his chin, and examined the face that didn't seem to belong to someone from Asia. "Speak, are you from the Vongala family or not?" "No, I'm not." HarumachiMusic forced out words filled with anger between clenched teeth, and a chaotic, gravity-infused punch shot forward. "Who has any relation to the mafia?" A powerful punch shook the room, the impact causing the walls to tremble. Gravity swept across the empty space, yet he felt no sensation of striking a solid body. Rokudo Mukuro dissolved into a faint mist, scattering, then reforming, completely unharmed. As expected of the most elusive illusionist in the world. A hole broke through the wall, and Tezuka Osamu emerged, with Yakimaru following behind him. For a moment, HarumachiMusic felt a rare sense of despair. These three. Tezuka Osamu's intellect is unquestionable, Yakimaru's combat abilities restrain him, and Rokudo Mukuro cannot be directly attacked. If one were to flip the situation, there remains only one feasible possibility. Once it's unleashed, Suribachi Street. Myself. The sheep. Reality didn't give HarumachiMusic the chance to reflect. Rokudo Mukuro's deep red pupils turned blood red. He said, whether it's relevant or not, Nakaharu-kun, Sheep King of Suribachi Street, I ask you to lend me your body, and I will use it to destroy the port mafia. What? Destroy the port mafia? If I have the power to destroy the mafia, do I still need you to do it? HarumachiMusic's head buzzed, a nauseating force invading his brain, making him feel like vomiting. He clutched his head, dropped to his knees on the ground, groaning, as the vague pain from the wounds on the back of his hand throbbed. Rokudo Mukuro tightened his control over Chiya's body, determined to succeed. No, don't. In his anxiousness, Yakimaru's voice came out grammatically incorrect, as he frantically tried to alert Dororo, the first to notice that the core power of the color-changing demon god was shifting. That faint light pink was becoming polluted. When the color changes, that's the moment the demon god resurrects. He's human. Only at this moment could Yakimaru confirm that the color-changing demon god was not a demon god at all. That faint crimson life was innocent. He couldn't avoid his own fingers as they reached for Dororo. Tezuka Osamu seemed to understand, yet acted as if he didn't care, calmly asking, haven't you always wanted him to die? In his agony, HarumachiMusic raised his head to look at Yakimaru, inexplicably wanting to laugh, born from the sorrow of humanity. Is that how it is? So the reason Yakimaru was hunting me down, was the calamity god. The moment Rokudo Mukuro's consciousness officially invaded HarumachiMusic's hands dropped. His once brilliant diamond-like blue eyes dimmed, as if abandoning himself. Impurities of silver streaked from the back of his hand, climbing rapidly, faster than expected. Beneath the human exterior. As HarumachiMusic lost consciousness, a few faint words silently passed through Rokudo Mukuro's mind.
汝、陰鬱なる汚辱の許容に、改めて我を目覚ますことなかれ。
The god of calamity awakens. Rokudo Mukuro's vision was engulfed by a deep red, as if he were seizing a body alongside a god. What is this? The room exploded. Chapter 28 End.